The emergency beacon pulsed weakly against the vastness of space. Inside the small escape pod, Lyra shivered, her blue-tinted skin clammy with fever. The navigation system had failed 3 days ago, and life support was down to 18%. She had sent distress signals on all frequencies, but the responses had been brief and dismissive. Negative assistance, quarantine protocols in effect. That had been the Orions, known for their wisdom and healing abilities. Unable to provide aid to Feralan species, non-interference directive. The Vex Collective, supposedly champions of peace. Direct exposure to your pathogen carries unacceptable risk. The Morax, who prided themselves on their technological superiority. One by one, the great civilizations of the Galactic Council had abandoned her. Her own people had already written her off as dead after the outbreak on the research vessel. She was the sole survivor, infected, but somehow still fighting the disease that had killed her entire crew within hours. Lyra's breath fogged the viewport as she gazed out at the stars. A small blue-green planet loomed ahead, primitive, mostly ignored by the spacefaring races except as an anthropological curiosity, Earth. Home to humans, a species widely regarded as volatile, dangerous, and unpredictable. The Council classified them as potentially hostile carnivores and maintained minimal contact. They were her last hope. With trembling hands, she redirected the last of her power to the comm system. This is Medical Officer Lyra of the Feralan Science Vessel Horizon. Emergency landing imminent. Requesting immediate medical assistance. I am infected with an unknown pathogen. All others aboard my ship are dead. She sent the message, not expecting an answer. Her pod shuddered as it hit the atmosphere, the heat shield barely functional. The landing would be rough, possibly fatal. To her surprise, a response crackled through her failing comm system almost immediately. This is Dr. Tom Ford. CDC emergency response. We're tracking your trajectory. Medical team will be at your landing site. Hang on. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Captain Kate Miller of U.S. Space Defense Force watched the alien pod streak across the night sky, trailing fire. Her team was already suited up in hazmat gear waiting. I still think this is crazy, Lieutenant Gray muttered beside her. Every advanced species out there refused to help. What makes us think we can handle this? Kate adjusted her helmet. Because we've been dealing with deadly diseases since before we knew what germs were. It's kind of our thing. The pod crashed in a remote field, digging a trench through soft earth before coming to rest. Kate's team approached cautiously, scanners detecting radiation levels within acceptable parameters. Dr. Ford's voice came through her comms. Remember, we have no idea what we're dealing with. Full quarantine protocols. Inside the battered pod, they found her, small, blue-skinned, with delicate features that seemed almost elfin. Her eyes were large, silvery, and filled with fear. Bloody lesions covered her visible skin. You came, she whispered in halting English, clearly surprised. Of course we did, Kate replied, her voice muffled by her suit. Let's get you out of here. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. In the hastily established quarantine facility, Dr. Ford studied the blood samples with fascination. It's remarkable, he told Lyra, who lay weakened but conscious on the bed. This pathogen is unlike anything we've seen, but it has similarities to several terrestrial viruses. We might be able to synthesize a treatment. Lyra's silver eyes widened. The council races, they said it was impossible. Well, Dr. Ford smiled behind his mask. Humans are stubborn that way. We don't like being told something's impossible. Days passed. Lara learned that the humans had immediately shared information about her condition with scientists worldwide. Labs across the planet worked around the clock, collaborating rather than competing. They asked her endless questions about her physiology, determined to understand. Why are you helping me? She asked Kate one evening. Your species is classified as dangerous. Carnivorous, volatile. Kate laughed. Carnivorous, yes. The rest is debatable, but we've spent our entire history fighting disease, war, and disaster. We're survivors. and we help other survivors. On the seventh day, Dr. Ford entered her room with a syringe containing a pale blue liquid. "We think this will work," he said simply. "It's an experimental treatment based on modified human antibodies and antiviral compounds. There's risk, but I'll die without it." Lyra finished. She nodded weakly. "I trust you." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. 2 weeks later, Lyra stood at a window, watching rain fall on the facility grounds. The lesions had faded from her skin. The fever was gone. The human treatment had worked where the advanced medical knowledge of the Council races had deemed intervention impossible. Behind her, Kate entered with a tablet. "The Council finally responded to our messages. They're sending a ship to extract you." Lyra turned, her expression troubled. "They abandoned me to die." "Well, they sound pretty embarrassed about it now," Kate said with a wry smile. "Especially since we've offered to share the treatment protocol with them." "They won't accept it," Lyra said softly. "It would mean acknowledging that humans aren't just dangerous carnivores," Kate finished. "Their loss." When the Council ship arrived, its crew was visibly uncomfortable dealing directly with humans. The captain, a tall, silver-skinned Vex, avoided eye contact as he addressed Lyra. "The Council expresses its regret for the oversight. You will be debriefed upon return." "No," Lyra said simply. The captain blinked, antenna twitching in confusion. "No, I'm requesting asylum on Earth. I've already filed the paperwork." Later, as the Council ship departed empty, Lyra stood with Kate and Dr. Ford, watching it vanish into the clouds. "The Council thinks humans are dangerous because you're unpredictable," Lyra said. "But they don't understand that your unpredictability is your strength. You looked at a deadly alien pathogen and saw a problem to solve, not a reason to run." Dr. Ford shrugged. "That's humanity for you. Dangerously optimistic, sometimes to a fault." Lyra smiled, looking at the sky where stars would soon be visible. "I think the Council fears you not because you're carnivores, but because when the rest of the galaxy chose safety, you chose compassion and succeeded anyway." "Well," Kate said with a grin, "welcome to Earth, where the carnivores have a surprising habit of saving lives."